Before the apocalypse, my sister and I awakened our powers simultaneously. She chose peerless beauty. I chose super strength. My sister, with her astonishing beauty, mingled while I was obsessed with lifting weights. My sister mocked me. Can your strength feed you? My beauty can get me everything. However, extreme cold arrived, temperatures dropped to -100 degrees Celsius. The world plunged into collapse, and I, with my strength, was selected for the guard team and earned respect. My sister, however, suffered severe frostbite. She had to have an amputation. I didn't go to see her at the hospital, but she drugged me. Her eyes red and hissed, "It's all your fault. If you hadn't chosen strength back then, I wouldn't be this miserable." In excruciating pain, I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes again, I was back before we chose our powers. Choose super strength. My sister's voice came from beside my ear. Only then did I realize I had been reborn. What was even stranger was my sister, who was obsessed with beauty in my previous life, actually chose strength this time. It seems she was reborn too. Since my sister, the Xiaobai, got ahead of me, then peerless beauty naturally belongs to me. After making my choice, the system made a soft sound and disappeared. I instantly became beautiful and fair. As for the Xiaobai, she became quite muscular. She touched her newly developed abs and glanced at me triumphantly. This glory belongs to me this time. I, however, pretended not to understand. Sister, what are you talking about? The Xiaobai gave me a suspicious look. Seeing that I didn't seem to be faking it, she became even more smug. She called me little cutie and left. After the Xiaobai left, I looked at my unblemished face in the mirror and almost cried tears of joy. In my previous life, the Xiaobai stabbed me 99 times. I was so miserable, yet my sister felt no guilt at all. She even wanted to defy fate and change her destiny. Go ahead and dream your impossible dreams, but now is not the best time to get revenge on my sister. The most important thing now is to survive the apocalypse first. There's only 1 month left until the apocalypse. I must earn enough money to build a safe house. After much thought, I decided to livestream and sell. No sooner said than done. That very evening, I submitted my resume to various platforms. Because of my beauty, almost all major platforms gave me offers. I carefully selected and finally chose a platform with the highest commission and the most freedom in product selection. For my first live stream, I specifically chose down jackets, snow boots, and plush gloves, items only used in winter. You should know, it was almost April. The company staff all looked at me with suspicion. After all, this company had high commissions, but also terrifyingly high penalties. But I had to take the gamble. I not only needed to earn money, I also wanted to save people. When the livestream first started, the livestream room was deserted. After all, it was almost April. Who would buy winter clothes? But I was well prepared. My main strategy was an off-season promotion. With super discounted products, I put on a thick down jacket and showcased it in front of the camera. Thanks to my peerless beauty power. Even though I was bundled up like a bear, I still looked exceptionally stylish and attractive. The popularity of the livestream room slowly began to rise. Everyone commented, "The streamer is so beautiful. She looks so good even in a down jacket." This down jacket style is pretty good. With my enthusiastic promotion and the boost from my beauty, the down jackets actually sold out one after another. Finally, all inventory was... My first livestream was a huge success. I earned a large sum of money. After earning my first sum from the livestream, I quickly bought a detached villa in Yangjiang. The location was remote, and few people went there normally. It perfectly met my requirements. I didn't splurge the remaining tens of thousands of yuan. Instead, I picked out a few branded bags and pieces of jewelry. I had no choice. My sister, the Xiaobai, has eyes sharper than a detector. Sure enough, the moment I walked in the door with my new bag, I ran into my sister, who had just returned from the gym. She spotted my new bag instantly. A flicker of jealousy crossed her eyes, but she quickly pursed her lips and scoffed dismissively. "Just made a little money, and you're already showing off. What's so great about that?" Although she said that, I noticed she visibly relaxed. It seems she's temporarily reassured, actually. The Xiaobai has always suspected that I'm also reborn. She even hired people to secretly follow me. I discovered this a long time ago. So, before buying the house, I deliberately took a detour to a luxury store. I browsed for a long time, then slipped out through an inconspicuous back door. This whole operation of mine, in the Xiaobai's eyes, meant I spent an entire day at the store, picking out these designer bags, and spent all the money I earned. I've temporarily appeased my sister. I need to quickly prepare for my second livestream tonight. For this live, I chose instant noodles, self-heating hot pot, and compressed biscuits. In the apocalypse, food is life. But these items are everywhere in supermarkets. and their prices are all similar. Naturally, people don't want to buy them. In my previous life, during the cold wave of apocalypse, more people starved to death than froze to death. Stockpiling vegetarian food is the way to go. In a moment of desperation, I posted a few doctored images of foreign disasters in the comments section and hinted in a low voice that the weather had been unstable recently. Then I used a burner account to pose as a master and echo my claims. Some people in the live stream were scared, and their shopping carts instantly emptied. But a university student posted the original images, exposing the lies of me and the master. A large number of refund requests flooded the back end. Fortunately, most people didn't bother to return them. But from then on, the live stream's reputation was ruined. No matter how hard I tried, it was with only half a month left until the apocalypse. I decided to resign. After deducting the penalty for breach of contract, I still had 500,000 yuan. Once I got this money, I didn't dare waste a single minute. I quickly found a renovation company. I asked them to, with the fastest speed possible, replace the villa's exterior walls, main gate, and insulation layer with the best quality materials to avoid suspicion. I lied to them, saying I wanted to transform this villa into a unique influencer theme with good pay. The workers naturally put in their best effort. The renovation company worked day and night, finishing all the work in just 3 days. 3 days later, the villa renovation was complete. I went home to get my essentials. The moment I entered, I froze. There was a strange man in the house. The Xiaobai was intimately holding his arm. The Buhai, this is my new boyfriend. I glanced at the Xiaobai. The abs that the system had originally given her were now loose and sagging. It seemed she didn't have time to work out at the gym. Instead, she was busy falling in love. I felt like I'd seen that man before. Never mind. I walked straight to my room, intending to grab some things, but the Xiaobai stopped me, a black suitcase in hand. The Buhai, my boyfriend, and I are going to live here. You move out. Xiaobai urging me to move out was exactly what I wanted. But her being so eager definitely meant something was up. I pretended not to notice and slowly started packing my things. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed my room was crammed with stuff. It seems she was afraid I'd discover the things she was secretly hiding, which is why she was so eager to kick me out. This house was left to us by Mom and Dad. What right do you have to make me leave? I deliberately shouted loudly, my voice echoing through the hallway. Soon, neighbors came out to see what was happening. The Xiaobai's face instantly changed, to prevent the neighbors from discovering the things she had hidden. Gritting her teeth, she pulled out a jewelry box and shoved it into my hand. Alright, stop yelling. These were all left to me by Mom. Now they're all yours. They're enough to cover half the cost of this house. Take them and leave quickly. I pretended to be very wronged as I took the jewelry. The moment I turned around, I smiled. I immediately found a pawn shop. I exchanged all that jewelry for cash. A full 500,000. I had a place to live. And money too. I could start buying things. First, I needed to sort out the electricity. I ordered 2 of the largest diesel generators and purchased 30 barrels of diesel. These should last for a year. Next was food and drink. I went to the city's largest agricultural wholesale market. Things there were the cheapest. Just as I arrived at the market entrance, I felt someone staring at me. I looked back, and sure enough, it was the Xiaobai and her boyfriend, Mao Bu. The Xiaobai's expression changed. The Buhai, what are you doing here? Are you stalking me? I sneered and pretended to be angry, saying, all those pieces of jewelry you gave me were fake. They were only worth a few hundred yuan. You have to give me the house back. I rushed forward, scratching and clawing at her. Several bloody marks immediately appeared on the Xiaobai's face. She shrieked and pushed me away. I fell to the ground, playing along. Just then, a car suddenly sped out. It looked like it was about to hit me. I quickly rolled to the side. The wheels almost brushed against my clothes as it passed. The Xiaobai looked at me. Her face seemed a little disappointed. Why didn't it hit her and kill her? She muttered softly. Although her voice was very quiet, I still heard it. The Xiaobai's expression made me feel very scared. In my previous life, she had the same expression when she stabbed me with a knife. On my deathbed, I asked her why she killed me. She said, "Sister, it's your fault for being too flashy. You paid for my surgery, and I should thank you. But you were just showing off that you were better than me. Why are you fine when the apocalypse came? You deserve to die." Only then did I realize that this sister had always wished for my death. I couldn't understand it. We were clearly born of the same mother. Why did she hate me so much? But now, none of that matters. In this life, I will put away my ridiculous kindness and have a good play with her. After I transported the purchased supplies back to the villa, I immediately called a real estate agent. "Hello, I have a house I'd like to sell. The agent quickly arranged for someone to view the house. I specifically chose a time when Xiaobai and Mao Bufan weren't home. The agent meticulously inspected every room. When we reached the storage room door, I accidentally opened the storage room door. A room full of things appeared before our eyes. Flour, cooking oil, instant noodles, canned goods, and mineral water filled the entire room. The agent was stunned and exclaimed loudly, "Oh my God, what is all this for? Buying so many things. Are you planning to open a convenience store?" I quickly closed the door and pretended to be nonchalant, saying, "Oh, sorry about that. My sister, the Xiaobai, bought this. I have no idea what she's planning." After seeing the storage room, I casually made an excuse and said I wouldn't sell the house for now. The agent was originally so angry she wanted to curse, but seeing that I was truly a great beauty, she swallowed her words. She just said she'd remember this house and not to bother her again about selling it in the future. That's for the best. I thought I was afraid she wouldn't remember it. Having dug such a big pit for the show, I left satisfied. As soon as I got back to the villa, I felt incredibly cold. I shivered. It was only 5 degrees Celsius in April. In previous years, at this time, we would have already been able to wear short sleeves. Only 3 days left until the apocalypse. I felt very uneasy. I only felt a little better when I saw the supplies. Regarding food, I purchased 100 bags of Northeast rice and flour. Each bag was 25 kilograms and 100 barrels. Each barrel was 5 liters. Shanghai bok choy, napa cabbage, cucumbers, tomatoes, and various other vegetables. For each item, I prepared enough for one person's annual several hundred kilograms. The other side of the utility room was piled high with various meats. Next to them, 30 large 200-liter blue barrels were filled with zero diesel fuel, enough to power 3 silent diesel generators for over a year. In addition, sanitary pads, toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, body wash, tampons, and other daily necessities. I prepared a full year's supply of everything. Maintaining personal hygiene is crucial. If you're not careful, it's easy to get sick. After inventorying the supplies, I fell into an exhausted sleep. I had to get enough rest to face the coming apocalypse. When I woke up again, I pulled open the curtains. Outside, a blanket of white snow was falling incessantly, as if to cover the entire world. Only 2 days left until the apocalypse. The temperature suddenly dropped to -5 degrees Celsius. There were almost no people or cars on the streets. TV news began to report that the weather in various regions was highly unusual. Some more sensitive people already sensed something was wrong. They started buying a lot of daily necessities at supermarkets, but most people still held on to hope, believing it was just a severe late spring cold snap, and things would be fine in a few days. Watching the people in the news who showed no reaction, I felt very anxious, but there was nothing I could do. I couldn't run out into the street and tell everyone the apocalypse was coming. I would just be taken for a lunatic and arrested. I opened my phone and posted on a commonly used app. The weather is too abnormal. Everyone, quickly buy more things and stock up. The apocalypse is definitely coming. The post was deleted within minutes of being published. My account was also banned. The reason given was spreading false information and disrupting social order. 2 days. Just 2 days. The cold wave arrived right on time. Wearing a down jacket, I shuffled step by step to the window, afraid that if I breathed on the glass, a puff of white mist would instantly condense into a blurry fog. I reached out to wipe it away, but all I could see was still a vast expanse of white. I couldn't see anything clearly. My phone kept vibrating. It was messages from the villa group. It's just heavy snow. Is it really that big of a deal? Experts said it would stop in a few days. Don't scare yourselves. How comfortable it is to stay at home. It's a good chance to rest for a few days. So delightful. Message after message of blind optimism, as if this disaster was just a minor interlude. But a week later, the temperature plummeted to -40 degrees Celsius. The group chat exploded. Does anyone have extra food? I'll trade an Hermes bag for a box of instant noodles and ham sausages. A limited edition Hermes. Now it's only worth a box of instant noodles. 2 boxes of instant noodles. I have 1 packet. Help! Does anyone have formula? My child is 6 months old. He hasn't had formula for 2 days. He's starving to death. Please, I beg you. I remembered when I was shopping, the clerk insisted on giving me 2 cans of imported formula. I even complained that they took up too much space. They might save a small life. In the end, I still messaged him privately. I have 2 cans of complimentary formula. I can only leave them at the door. You'll have to figure out how to get them yourselves. Xidong and Huang Ji were incredibly grateful. We agreed to leave the milk powder at my doorstep. Then, covered in heat packs, I quickly opened the door. After putting down the milk powder, I locked the door. The entire process took less than 30 seconds, but the cold still instantly invaded. It froze me to the bone. I don't know what method the residents of Building 10 used, but they successfully got the milk powder They also left something at my doorstep. They left a few fruits that were frozen solid. Thank you. When it's not so cold, ... you can come out and get them. These are the only fruits our family has left. I'm not short on food. But these few fruits, which I would have casually thrown away before the apocalypse, ... warmed my heart. It seems not everyone harbors ill intentions. At least not everyone is like the Oh, right? Last time the Xiaobai brought the agent to see the house, ... I had already installed a few pinhole cameras. The cameras were extremely discreet. I installed them for this very moment. I almost forgot about her. I turned on the... As soon as the surveillance turned on, I was stunned. In the surveillance footage, ... the room was a complete... The Xiaobai and her boyfriend were tied up with hemp rope. They were lying on the ground. Help, robbery, murder. The Xiaobai's cries for help. ... were quickly interrupted by 3 shut-ups. Scream again and I'll kill you. The agent fiercely turned around. He grabbed a dirty rag from the floor and directly stuffed it into the Xiaobai's mouth. The Xiaobai whimpered, but she couldn't make a sound. She could only watch helplessly as her supplies were ... carried away, watching her struggle in agony. I felt only calm. My sister, after her rebirth, thought she had seized every advantage. She could do as she pleased, but she forgot ... That in the apocalypse. The most terrifying thing isn't natural disasters. She only focused on hoarding supplies, but she forgot to reinforce her doors and windows. Ultimately, she became prey in the eyes of others. Originally, if the ... Zhao, B.A. I had properly utilized her trained diligently, and improved her strength. With her and her boyfriend's physique, ... they could have easily overpowered these few thugs. However, she instead focused her energy on petty squabbles and jealousy, completely wasting her stamina system. That group of people emptied the room, but they still had a bit of conscience. They left behind a little food, probably enough to sustain them for 3 days. 3 days later, it would be the government's first time distributing supplies. As long as they could endure 3 days, they would be able to survive. However, in extremely harsh conditions, the evil of human nature was infinitely magnified. For example, just because of a pack of instant noodles. ... The Xiaobai only ate ... while her dear boyfriend Mao Bufin ... ate 10 bites. The Xiaobai wasn't happy about it. While Mao Bufin was asleep, she ... Stealthily retrieved a piece of 470 under the dilapidated bed to eat it. But she didn't expect ... Mao Bufin to actually wake up. He snatched the bread, slapped the Xiaobai who told you to sneak food. The Xiaobai was stunned by the slap. Covering her face, she looked at Mao Bufin, feeling her eyes were filled with disbelief. Just ... just for this little bit. Do you have to go that far? However, it wasn't over. The more he spoke, the angrier he grabbed the Xiaobai's hair and dragged her out. Get out, get lost. At 50 degrees below zero in the early morning, Mao Bufin threw the Xiaobai out. Shivering, the Xiaobai pulled out her phone. Only 10% battery life remained. She dialed my number. Her voice was weak. Sis ... save me. Mao Bufin kicked me out. I'm freezing to death. I sat in my warm room, watching Empresses in the Palace on TV. The thrilling palace intrigue made my eyes widen. I thought he would hate me, but I didn't expect him to still count on me to save him. In my previous life, the severe cold had eased slightly. The Xiaobai ignored my warnings, went out on a date, and ended up buried by a sudden blizzard. I risked hail and snow to desperately dig him out, but he turned around and blamed me. He even killed me out of jealousy for my powers. On the phone, the Xiaobai's voice grew weaker and weaker, finally letting out a desperate cry. Sis, you must have been reborn. Where are you? If you don't come save me, I'll call the police and have you arrested. Call the police? Fine. Let's see if the police get to me first, or if you freeze to death first. The Xiaobai started cursing, but the call disconnected after he uttered just one word. I knew his phone had died. I was sleeping soundly that night, when I was suddenly woken up, a strange buzzing sound in waves. What's that sound? I sprang up, startled, and turned on the surveillance camera at the villa's entrance. A group of people were at the door, led by an unfamiliar face, looking fierce and menacing. But the person next to him was actually Mao Bufin. Both were wrapped in expensive heated cold weather suits. These things were rarer than gold now. Wang Mo, you little brat, you're not messing with me, are you? There are supplies in this house. Fifth brother, you can call me Kiao Hao. Before the blizzard, I personally saw him hauling goods from the wholesale market. His sister knows about the apocalypse, so he definitely knows too, Mao Bufin said excitedly, pointing at the door. Tiger brother sneered, raised his chainsaw and went straight for the door lock. Sparks flew everywhere. My heart leaped into my throat. Using the faint light from the surveillance camera, I clearly saw on his wrist a twisted knife scar. I suddenly remembered who this person was. Brother Pooh was also an ability user, with copper walls and iron fortresses. He was impervious to blades and bullets. In my previous life, the official guard team tried to recruit him. But he not only refused, he also led a gang of superpowered thugs to commit evil everywhere. Based on my memories from my previous life, Tiger Brother and his gang should have appeared in the mid-apocalypse. Did my rebirth change the timeline? No time to think. The chainsaw outside was getting closer. This door wouldn't last long. I rushed into the room and pressed the switch for the high-voltage defense system. This is my last resort, and my only source of security. But this system consumed an alarming amount of fuel, and the generator might be scrapped after activation. But now, it was a desperate situation. Outside the door, the piercing sound of electricity crackled, followed by even more agonizing screams. Holy crap. This bitch actually installed high-voltage electricity in her house. Ah, my hand. My hand feels like it's been roasted. It hurts so much. Run, run. On the monitor, 2 of the 5 people had fallen. The rest fled in disarray. My overloaded generator let out a clunk and completely broke down. I covered my mouth and nose, having survived the ordeal. Although the generator was ruined, I was temporarily safe. But I knew deep down that these vicious thugs would never give up. Given their explosive tempers, they would definitely return. Sure enough, the surveillance showed them turning towards other villas in the community. But they underestimated the complexity of human nature in the apocalypse. And the instinct for survival. Some residents threw flower pots, attempting to escape. The flower pots hit the thugs, leaving them with bleeding heads. Some residents made simple bows and arrows. Although their aim wasn't great, they had the advantage of surprise. Shouts and curses, shattering flower pots, and arrows whizzing through the air filled the one after another, in utter chaos. In the end, this group not only didn't gain any advantage, but were instead utterly defeated, and fled in disarray. The next morning, outside, it was still snowing heavily. Ding, my phone chimed. A news notification popped up. Last night, the Yebu Black residential area was robbed, resulting in deaths. 10 boxers of instant noodles were stolen. 8 caddies of cured meat for such a small amount of supplies. So many people actually died. The world is even more brutal than I imagined. In the afternoon, another news report. The Garden residential area was robbed. Residents resisted, 8 dead and many injured. Each news report made me realize the world has completely spiraled out of control. To survive, people will do anything. I sat on the sofa. Fear and anxiety, unease surged like a tide. At night, the power went out. The city plunged into a dead silence and darkness. I peered out through a crack in the window. I saw only thick snow. It was almost covering the first floor windows. Suddenly, a huge roar echoed from afar. It was the sound of a helicopter. I quickly ran to the window. It was a helicopter of the Guardian Corps from my past life. The helicopter hovered in the wind and snow. Its searchlights swept through the darkness. An anxious voice came from the loudspeaker. Citizens, please close your doors and beware of robbers securely, and await rescue. Citizens, please close your doors and windows. Beware of robbers and await rescue. It seems those robbers are still looting everywhere. Burning, killing, and plundering. No, I can't just stand by and do nothing. I grabbed my phone, disregarding the risk of exposing my rebirth. I dialed 110. Hello, this is a tired male voice. Officer, I know detailed information about a group of robbers. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down. I recounted everything from my previous life about these robbers' appearance, their methods of operation, possible hiding places, even the knife scar on brother whose hand. I revealed it all. The other end of the line was silent for a moment. The voice became serious. Thank you for the tip. We will verify it immediately. Please keep your phone on so we can contact you anytime. The call ended. I slumped onto the bed, covered in cold sweat. My heart pounded wildly. I don't know how much good this call will do, but I did my best. At least I'm not fighting alone. My rebirth still has meaning. I woke up again, awakened by heart-wrenching cries from outside the window. It was the Xiaobai, my sister. Save me. It's Xiaobai, sis. I was foolish before. I was wrong. Please open the door and let me in. Let's team up, like we did in our previous life, okay? Seeing I didn't react, 2 people slowly rose from behind the snowdrift. Brother Hu and Mao Bufang. Brother who walked up to the shop and slapped her across the face. You wretched woman. Didn't you say your sister would definitely save you? Wasting my damn time. The Xiaobai was knocked to the ground. She was in so much pain she could barely breathe. The snow fell heavier and heavier. Her consciousness grew increasingly blurry. She remembered how, before the apocalypse, she had driven her sister out of the house. She just wanted to make her sister beg her and depend on her ever since they were little. Her sister had always been better than her at everything. She was extremely envious, even hated her sister. But why did her sister leave without saying a word? Sis, you finally came to see me. Do you know? I hate you, but I hate myself more. The moment the Xiaobai closed his eyes, I stood by the window, my fingers gripping the window frame tightly, turning white. I knew what he was thinking, always using the most extreme methods to get my attention, using the wildest actions to prove his existence. The Xiaobai, you're truly a madman. But I know I am too. But there's no time to think now. I know their next target is me. I have to do something. Otherwise, I'll die here just like the Xiaobai. The snow was falling heavier and heavier. It'll take time for the police to arrive. The villa area is remote. I can only rely on myself. This time, they came prepared. They brought a ladder and ropes and headed straight for the second-floor balcony. The glass there, used for ventilation, wasn't sealed shut. Malbufin was already halfway up. Luckily, the accumulated snow made the outer wall slippery. I kicked him in the head. He lost his balance and fell. I immediately kicked the ladder away. Beside him, brother, who was already climbing faster, I grabbed a flower pot and smashed it down. Too bad, brother, who was wearing a helmet. Time is running out. I must act immediately. The bedroom door was being pounded loudly. I desperately used furniture to barricade the door. Just as I placed the last stool, brother, who had already rushed into the villa, opened the door. Pretty lady, open up quickly, or else when we get in, ... Hey, hey, he threatened, while frantically destroying the door lock. It's over. The door won't hold much longer, but there are still so many supplies in the villa. I can't give up. What should I do? What should I do? Wait, the skylight? The villa has a skylight. I quickly put on hand warmers, wrapped myself tightly in my down jacket, and climbed onto the roof. My hands were so cold they were almost stiff. The skylight finally opened. The moment the skylight opened, brother who downstairs and I locked eyes. He froze. Then he smiled, a truly disgusting smile. Pretty lady, be a good girl. Open the door and cooperate with Big Brother. I'll guarantee you a life of luxury. Why bother with all this? It's such a shame for a pretty little thing like you to be fighting and killing. I ignored him, underestimating my supplies. First, ask if my lighter is ready to play rough. Brother who saw the diesel in the lighter, his face finally changed. You ... I'm invulnerable to blades and bullets. This little fire, I smiled and threw the lit match down. He might be invulnerable to blades and bullets, but his clothes aren't fireproof. He screamed and jumped out the window, rolling in the snow, like a roasted worm. Knowing he was almost done for, he actually started begging me, heroin, spare my life. My lady, I was wrong. Save me. He pleaded in various ways. What were you doing before? Those he harmed, they probably begged like this before they died. Did he ever show mercy? Didn't they? Seeing that I ignored him, his gaze turned from malice to despair. He struggled to get up but couldn't move at all. No ... impossible. How could I, of all people, lose to a woman like you? I stepped on his charred hand. You didn't lose to me. You lost to your own prejudice. Just then, outside the courtyard, sirens. The Waxia guard team arrived. They rushed out of their vehicles and apprehended those guys. They also took the Xiaobai away. The fire in the villa was extinguished by the wind and snow. The house had a large hole burned into it, but none of that mattered anymore. 1 month later, outside the window, dense swarms of helicopters filled the sky. In the evening, 3 large transport planes landed in the residential area. Cranes lowered large quantities of supplies, purified water, bread, instant noodles, compressed biscuits. There were even fresh vegetables. I don't know which building was the first to erupt in cheers. Rescue has arrived. We're saved. Immediately after the guard team broadcast, everyone, hold on. The guard team is ready. Just a little longer. We'll definitely get through this. 2 days later, water and electricity were gradually restored throughout the area. The wind and snow gradually subsided. 3 days later, the internet was restored. My social media accounts were instantly flooded with thank you comments. Zuba, Your down jacket saved the lives of my entire family, young and old. Your instant noodles and biscuits were absolutely delicious. I gained 10 pounds. Streamer, are you a god? You can predict the future. Everything you sold came in handy. One comment was pushed to the top trending spot. The person upstairs probably just had incredible luck. However, do you still remember that prophecy post from before the end of the world? It seems they were talking about me too. Netizens exploded. They started wildly guessing who the prophet was. Some said it was a wild guess. Some said it was someone reborn. Even more absurdly, some said I was an alien. I just wanted to barely survive. How did I become a prophet? Day 180 of the cold wave apocalypse. Day 200 since the sun reappeared. The sky completely cleared up. The temperature rose back to 20 degrees Celsius. Spring returned. The city began to rebuild. I also joined the snow clearing army. In the crowd, I saw Sister Wang from the stone cave. She was holding a chubby fair-skinned baby. The little one, in a sweet, childish voice, handed me a piece so sweet.